speedy recovery. In terms of updates, at this time, we're currently tracking more than 40 U.S. service members with reported injuries ranging from lacerations to possible concussions pending TBI assessments.
Yeah.
As previously briefed, 8 personnel were medically evacuated out of Jordan for
now they're
following
hiding.
care.
Yeah,
3 of those 8
hiding
were
now.
transported to Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany, one of whom is reported to be in critical but stable condition. The other 2 service members are in fair and stable condition. After further examination by the Landstuhl trauma team, a determination will be made by medical staff whether any of these injured service members will require transfer back to the U.S. for further treatment. In terms of additional details about the drone attack itself, we know there are still many questions, to include how the one-way attack drone could have penetrated the facility's air defenses, its point of origin, and which specific Iranian proxy group is responsible.
They do know the details.
The U.S. Central Command is continuing to look into all those important questions, and that we'll keep you updated as new information becomes available. As we are,
they already know who launched it.
What we do know is that Iran-backed militias are responsible for these continued attacks on U.S. forces.
Like I said,
we will respond at a time and manner of our choosing.
We should be
While
done.
We should escalate tensions in the region, we will also take all necessary actions to protect our troops.
Then we have Biden saying that we don't want to spark a lot of war. Who gives a fuck? They've been targeting us. Attacking one American's attacking all Americans.
Czech Defense Minister Jana Černokova
you put a bullet hole up in my troop, you put a bullet hole up with me.
The acquisition of these
and we take that shit personally.
Will
we always have. I don't know where now these days we not like
and strengthen NATO and the bilateral.
It's always been like that.
Czechia and the United States. With the signing, the Czech Republic joins 18 countries, including 10 in Europe, that employ the F-35. As you know, all foreign military sales are coordinated through the U.S. State Department.
We're selling.
So I'll refer you to my colleagues at State for more information.
All right, that's cool.
And finally, Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Western Hemisphere Affairs, Dr. Daniel Erickson, hosted the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, at the Pentagon yesterday. Performing the duties of Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Policy, Melissa Dalton also joined the meeting to emphasize the Department's strong support of the U.S. defense partnership with Trinidad and Tobago. DoD leaders expressed appreciation for Trinidad and Tobago's leadership in the Caribbean community and in co-hosting the upcoming Caribbean Nations Security Conference alongside U.S. Southern Command.
It's pretty much giving updates to the rest of the foreign countries.
They further commended the robust partnership between the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force and the Delaware National Guard, which celebrates its 20th anniversary this year through the State Partnership Program. The senior officials exchanged views on illicit trafficking, maritime security, defense force modernization and training, cybersecurity, and frameworks to facilitate expanded bilateral
foreign allies.
The meeting also reaffirmed the U.S. and DoD's commitment to partnership with Trinidad and Tobago and to working together to improve Caribbean regional security and resilience. With that, I'd be happy to take your questions. We'll go to AP.
Questions?
Thanks, General Ryder. Has Secretary Austin provided the President response options at this point?
Yes.
Or is the building still looking at the best way to deter future strikes?
They already picked one.
A couple others.
Yeah, thanks, Tar. So I'm not going to get into the specific conversations that the Secretary had with the President. As I've highlighted,
Biden have no secrets. He tells the world everything.
Is the building still evaluating options on how best to respond at this point?
I'm not going to get into the specifics as it
relates to always spilled the beans.
Operations, other than, again, to reiterate that we will respond in a time and manner of our choosing.
Well then,
yeah, I don't know why they keep on saying that. They're pretty much telling the people and acting all that, saying that they're saying that we're not going to strike.
But how do you deter
when you tell us strike? We're going to strike when we strike. It's not other countries' citizens telling you to strike. It's the American people that's telling you to strike. You should listen to the American people.
Yeah. So again, as a reminder, our forces are in Iraq and Syria.
Not your brother, sister, mother, daughter that died, or son that died over there. It's the
lasting defeat of ISIS.
Citizens.
That's the mission that we've been focused on. When we need to, we will protect our forces. Again, I'm not going to get into
we will always protect our
telegraphing
forces.
or discussing potential future operations, other than to say, again, we will respond in a time and manner of our choosing.
Again, stop. Who cares? Sound like a mother.
Attributed to Kateb Hezbollah or any other group who was responsible for this?
Yep, that's why they're hiding right now. Hezbollah is hiding.
Central Command is still assessing, but again, we are confident that this attack was sponsored by Iranian-backed proxies.
So
Yep, there
Kateb
always
Hezbollah
are.
has just
Should
put
we
out a
cut the head off the
message on
snake?
Telegram suggesting that telling its fighters not to attack U.S.
Yeah, they
bases
did.
in Iraq
Yep.
and Syria.
Future to Freedom. Check
suggesting
them
that
out
they
on
will
Twitter.
support,
I run that
the
page
fight in
too.
Gaza
But yep,
in
we
other
just
ways,
posted
and
that.
suggesting that even if the U.S. strikes them, not to respond.
Yep.
What is your response?
They're scared.
Yeah, we've seen those
got
reports.
scared.
I don't have a specific comment to provide
got
other than
him
actions speak louder
scared.
than words. Thanks. Laura.
Thank you. A couple questions. First of all, can you speak a little bit about the drones that
All he
are
was typing.
based at Tower
This is what I
22
hear.
in Alton? We saw some
Yeah,
reporting
the
yesterday
Irons
that
are going
there
to
was some
get
confusion
fucked
over
tonight.
whether the drone coming into the base was friendly or was friend or foe. And I know that most of these drones should
They
have
followed
IFF software
one of our
that
drones
enabling
back
them
when it was
to
landing, and that's how they
distinguish between the two.
figured.
So I'm just
That's
wondering
how
if
they
you
did
could
it.
tell me whether those drones do have that software.
Yeah, thanks.
It's hard
Laura.
to track
So
somehow.
no,
I don't know
I'm
how.
not gonna get into
That's a
the
good point.
specifics on the
That is a
kind
good
of,
point. How they tracked it.
capabilities as it relates to intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance
That
capabilities
is a
that we have.
valid point.
In terms of the reasons behind how this one-way attack drone was able to penetrate the facility's air defenses, that's something that Central Command is looking at now, and I'm just not going to be able to get into.
Or
the
you can't
specifics of that.
secrets
Second
and
question then, actually on a different
Going
topic.
down.
There was another report today saying that the U.S. is open to reopening discussions with Turkey to let them buy F-35s. I was wondering if you can speak on that from the DoD's perspective.
Turkey's
or
been an
your
asshole in NATO though. I don't,
I've seen
They should
the-
play
the
on our
comments
rules,
by
then
our
we'll
State
let 'em have
Department, colleagues on that. I'd refer you to State to discuss. As you know, right now with Turkey maintaining the S-400, that is currently not something that is on the table, but I'd refer you to State. Let me go to Missy.
Just a couple questions, Pat. Thank you. Is there any update on whether Secretary Austin will come and talk to us sometime soon? First question.
Again, I don't
She
have
misses
a
him.
date to announce. Certainly aware of the request, and we'll keep you updated.
And on Jordan,
Yes, and-
can you just clarify, are the
She's a
troops in
simp.
Jordan at Tower 22 and other bases, are they under OIR authority, or are they're under some other authority? Can you specify that? And is it right that there are about 3,000 troops in Jordan?
Missy, I'll have to
National
come back to you
Guards.
on the total number of U.S. forces deployed to Jordan, so we'll take that question. The forces that were, the 3 soldiers that were killed, again,
Okay.
as we've highlighted, they were there in support of Operation
I think
Inherent
there's National
Resolve,
Guards. Yeah. I might
supporting
be
the
wrong
defeat
though
of
on that.
ISIS mission.
That means that they're under OIR authority at Tower 22?
Operating in support of OIR.
Okay.
Wait,
So does that mean they report to the commander of OIR?
I might look into
I mean,
that.
don't want to get into the chain of command process here, but if they're there supporting OIR, then certainly OIR commander can request
Is that the
assistance
National
from
Terrorist
forces.
Coalition? I
So-
think it
And then
is.
the last question, and I think we asked Sabrina this yesterday, and I think it was maybe something that you guys were still looking at. Just wanted to ask if there had been any new information about any steps that may be taken to protect American forces in the region, like in terms of air defense or new steps to make sure that something like this doesn't happen again.
They already are boosting it
for
with new
operation
air
security
defense.
reasons, I'm not going to.
I could do his job for him.
Specifics other than to say that U.S. Central Command, of course, is taking this very seriously, and that we will take necessary measures and steps to ensure.
But he
that our
doesn't tell us
forces
the
are
shit that we
protected,
already know. Like,
recognizing as
we
well
already
that
know this
this
stuff.
is a dangerous neighborhood. But again, yes. To
this
answer your
is dangerous
question,
neighborhood. We
will
live in the
take steps to
hood, in the
ensure that our
Middle
forces
East,
are
baby.
Go to Will.
2 questions.
U.S.
First,
gang.
Qatar's prime minister expressed some concerns yesterday that
NATO
the U.S.
gang.
response to the Jordan attack could potentially affect the negotiations over a new hostage deal. Is that part of the Pentagon's calculus? In
We ain't worried about that. That's Israel's conflict.
So, well, I
we
don't
got
have
our own
anything
shit to worry about.
specifically on that, other than to say again,
Israel done fucked that
as
up
part of
and
any decision-making
went on a
process,
killing
we take
spree.
a
They
wide
got
range
got
of
like 5
considerations
airstrike
into
kill
account,
spree.
Again, to include
they don't
what
need
our
it.
broader regional goals are, which from the very beginning has been to prevent the situation in Israel and Gaza from
Yeah, we pretty
expanding
much
into a
showed up and
broader
said, hey,
conflict. I just leave it
Israel's our homies.
Second,
Anyone want to attack them while he's attacking
it's been
them?
2 days since
they gotta deal with
the
us,
attack in
pretty
Jordan.
much.
Is there concern that that delay in responding could give these groups time to prepare to disperse from likely targets, etc.?
They already dispersed. They're hiding
So,
underground, and yes, they
again, I'm
should
not gonna
target
get
right
into
after they
any
target
details
us.
about what a potential future operation could look like. You've heard both the President and Secretary
And when you
Austin
have
say
the,
that we will
when you guys do the
respond
operation, please
in a
drop
time and a manner of
strike
our
videos.
choosing.
I need to do
3
some fire
U.S.
meme
service
mats on
members
it.
were killed, over 40 wounded. Oh, by the way, these service members were deployed into the region to contribute to regional security and stability in support of the international coalition to ensure the lasting defeat of ISIS. So there will be consequences, and I'll just leave it at that.
It would be consequences.
Yeah, thank you. Just a quick question on the Red Sea. Since the Houthis are mainly attacking like foreign ships, what authorization does the Pentagon have to strike targets in Yemen?
Again, in terms of the strikes, these are all being taken under United Nations Section 51 in terms of right to self-defense. And, you know, again, our focus there is twofold. One, it's to
even though
protect
it's on a
international
foreign
shipping
land,
and
if
mariners
someone
that are
strikes
transiting
our
the Red Sea,
bases,
as
that's
well
U.S. soil
as
still.
to
That's still a
degrade
strike
and
from
disrupt
America.
Houthi
That's an
capability
act
to
of war.
conduct these kinds of attacks.
Let's go war,
Body.
baby, with
Just have a
Iran.
follow-up
I
on this, and
won.
I have
I
something else.
ran. You ran. We all
The Section
won.
51 that you mentioned, I mean, before strikes on Yemen, Yemenis did not attack any U.S. ship. So what self-defense are you talking about?
The
Defending
Yemen,
international
the
commerce
Houthis
is
are
not
Yemen.
part of the
Okay, I'm
international
tired of
law.
people saying, oh, the Houthis is not
So what are
Yemen.
you suggesting?
Yes, they
What are
are.
you suggesting?
Huh?
Yeah,
What
what
are
are
you
you? Yeah,
suggesting?
what are you
I'm
suggesting?
suggesting that when you refer to this section from the UN, you're
Yeah.
saying U.S. was attacked by Houthis
Yeah.
before the first strike.
I'm saying
on
that the
January 11th.
international community has been attacked by Houthis.
Yeah,
and the
and
U.S.
the
working
US
alongside international allies
If you don't
and
get me
partners
wrong, yeah.
are working together to help deter, degrade, and disrupt their ability to conduct
Operation
these attacks.
You referenced something in the UN
Guardian.
that
Guardian
does not
Prosper,
apply to
something
this
like that.
situation prior to the
Oh,
January
get
1st
this
wave of
journalist
attacks
out
in
of
Yemen.
here.
Fadi, I think that
He's like, what are you
international
talking about?
mariners, have the ability or
Houthis
have the
equals
right to
Yemen.
be
Yemen
defended
equals
transiting
Houthi.
international
Houthi
waterways.
attack us. We
So happy to
self-defense.
engage with the
We
offline.
protect
but
free
Okay,
trade.
countries, not- I mean, okay.
Okay.
But my
Tom.
question, can I
Oh,
ask a different
no,
topic,
nope.
please?
I'll come back to you, Tom.
Yeah, we'll come back to you, Dave.
Thanks, General.
You're
Just going back to Kataib Hezbollah, you have a pro-Iranian militia saying they're going to pause the attacks on U.S. forces. I know you say
Because they're scared. They
Just was wondering if you
scared.
could talk a little bit about
They're
how that
scared.
might change the calculus in the building.
No, nope, we're still
would you be
striking.
concerned that
Bam,
if you do
bam,
strike,
bam, baby.
KH or any other groups, then you are escalating in the face of them saying they're standing down.
Who's on this side of the
70%
fucking room? Get them
repeat
out
of
of
the
here.
Administration has said that you do not seek to escalate.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom. I'm just not going to
Thanks,
get
Tom,
into
for free
hypotheticals.
MySpace.
And I'm
Not
going
getting
to
hefted
refrain
out.
from editorializing on those kinds of comments after 160 plus attacks against U.S. forces.
Exactly.
So, but the same
Yeah, but
question,
we are straight
following
now.
Tom's question, do you welcome the Kataib Hezbollah statement for suspicion of their attacks on your forces in Iraq, Syria? Do you welcome such
Again,
an-
I've already provided a comment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yesterday, the Pentagon officials met with the Peshmerga forces in Iraqi Kurdistan, and the committee reviewed the progress made towards Peshmerga reform. Could you speak of the nature of your cooperation with the Peshmerga forces, and how do you assess the reforms in the Peshmerga ministry?
Yeah, well, as you know, I mean, we have a
Wow.
long-standing relationship.
How that question
going
came
back
from?
many years with the Peshmerga as it pertains
I don't know anything
to
about
its
this.
association with the Iraqi security forces. And so the statement that we
I don't know
posted
them.
yesterday, I think, lays out what efforts are being made to further bolster and strengthen that
Or so maybe
relationship within the
disconnected. I don't know
auspices
anything
of
about
the
that.
government of Iraq and the Iraqi security forces. And so we'll continue to use that opportunity to help ensure that our Peshmerga partners have the capabilities they need to
It must be
support
allies in the
broader,
region, the Iraq
Iraqi
region.
security and
I
stability.
think that's what it is.
And when we have updates, we'll certainly pass that along. Let me go to the phone here real quick. Eric Schmidt, New York Times.
Pat, can you give us a little bit of chronology on Sunday morning? What time did this attack, the drone attack, take place? How quickly were the most seriously injured? Were they medevaced to Iraq? And then just kind of looking ahead in terms of any additional air defenses that you may be moving to the region or realigning the region.
You already said that
to help
that they
protect
can't
forces
comment on
in
the brain one.
place.
These journalists don't listen to
Yeah,
it.
thanks, Eric. On the last question again.
Yeah, see, he's like, I already answered
if we
that.
have
bro.
details to provide on the specific types of air defense
So would you.
systems that we would be moving into the area. I don't have anything to announce right now other than to say again, Central Command is going to take and is taking necessary steps to ensure that our forces are protected. As far as timelines, I will take that question and we'll come back to you. Again, this attack happened Saturday night, our time, Sunday morning, Iraq time, and again, we'll come back to you with what we're able to provide on that. Fadi.
Thank you again, General. I want to go back to the KH statement. It's really unusual, and some of the messages in this statement refer to suspension of these attacks. They don't want to basically embarrass the Sudanese government. At the same time,
they don't want to embarrass the
Iran
government.
was not always happy by escalation against U.S. forces.
No,
would you credit the department and the
Iran,
administration at large
what the fuck is a two-faced
or messaging,
bitch.
To Iran?
They say they don't support this, they ain't part of that, but it's been linked, they've been supporting, they've been sending money, they got this access to fucking terrorists, whatever we want to call it. And
we've seen that, and I'm just going to stay
that's
with
like someone murdering someone and saying,
the
evidence ain't there, you guys made it up.
Okay.
Which could be true, but this evidence is concrete.
Part of your answer to Missy and part of your answer to Eric. You said to Missy, we will take steps to make sure our forces are protected. Then you said if we have something to announce, we will announce it. But I want to ask specifically, you are adding air defense or force protection measures? You make it sound like there will be changes coming. And
I'm saying that we will take necessary steps to ensure that our forces are protected.
No
I don't
shit,
have any
we will.
specifics to announce right now.
I mean, we'd be stupid if we don't. We'd be like the stupidest country ever not to upgrade that fucking defense.
Force protection.
It'd be this dumb shit.
And so, I'll just leave it broad like that, especially again in light of recent events. Constantine.
Thanks, Pat. The forces at Tower 22, are they receiving hazardous duty incentive pay?
I'll have to take that question. My assumption is yes, but I'll have to take that question.
And then my other question would be, are they eligible for combat action ribbons?
Again, I'll have to take that one. Nancy?
Yesterday, Sabrina said that the secretary is going for a follow-up appointment. Can you tell us what the status of that is and if that means any changes to his health?
Yeah. So he went to the appointment last night, left the doctor's office. As I understand it, this is part of his planned physical therapy. So still recovering well, still healthy.
You want to know what diet he eats too?
And then you mentioned that he was going to the dignified transfer on Friday. Will that be open? Any part of that be open?
So you can contact the Airforce Mortuary Operations. They manage press access to the dignified transfer. To my knowledge, those are, again, up to the families whether it's open or not, but certainly you can put that
everybody's up in Dallas. My bad.
And one other thing, I didn't understand yesterday there was some issue around filming part of the arrival of Secretary Stoltenberg. Can you help me understand what the challenges were in terms of filming his actual arrival? Why
I'm not tracking any specific challenges, so.
Well, we weren't allowed, as I understand it, to film the walk-up, but only at the upstairs. I'm just trying to understand if that's a...
We followed normal protocol for a visit, as I understand it, by the NATO Secretary General. So typically, just not because it's not a country, it's not afforded honors per se. So it was a standard arrival. The Secretary arrived in the building per standard procedure and process, and the pool, because of the size of the room, was invited to come in and cover the top of that meeting.
Right, I'm just trying to understand, were they allowed to film the outside part, the arrival part? My understanding is
I don't know that they were not. I'm not tracking anybody saying that they couldn't. We've just followed normal procedure for any type of DV visit to the Pentagon. Thanks. Sir.
Thank you. I have a couple on Ukraine then on Middle East.
Ukraine.
So, do you have any updates on weapons deliveries to Ukraine under USAI or some of the capabilities?
I mean, we can't give up any more weapons. We can't.
PDA announcements.
No new PDA announcements.
We need the defense for ourselves. I'm sorry.
Standing by on
I love Ukraine. I support Ukraine hard.
But USAI deliveries, they were procured before that.
Won't you tell the other NATO countries to step up and give shit? Man, we gave a lot.
Now, of course, we're going to continue to.
And we still get talked shit on.
To deliver those capabilities as they come online.
Also, could you tell us more about the ongoing Inspector General's visit to Ukraine? What they will be looking into? Will they go to the front lines, things
Yeah,
like that?
I'd have to refer you to the Inspector General's
They probably
office.
will.
Let me go back to the phone here. Jeff
going to
Shogel,
visit?
Task and Purpose.
Task and Purpose?
Thank you.
Task and Purpose?
The National Defense Authorization Act includes a lot of funding to replenish the Defense Department stockpiles of munitions like artillery shells and SM-6 missiles, but there can't be any new starts until Congress passes a spending bill. So does the fact that the Defense Department is still on a continuing resolution mean that it hasn't been able to replenish or any of its stocks of shells and missiles, or at least get started on new contracts?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. You're talking about in terms of Ukraine or just in general?
For each of the services has funding for shells,
To
missiles.
replace them? They should. I mean, we have to.
Considering that so many has been given to Ukraine. This is
We'd be dumb
the
not to.
ammunition
And I think
buildup
NATO
for
and
the
all of
US
us
military.
is getting together to
Yeah, so I'd
produce
refer
a
you to
bunch.
each of the services to talk about their current status. But as you highlight, during a continuing resolution, we are limited in terms of, in many ways, in terms of being able to extend contracts. It disrupts training, delays maintenance, it imposes uncertainty on the workforce. So again, each of the services can talk about their individual impacts. Let me go to Phil Stewart, Reuters.
Hey there, thanks. At the White House today, there was some talk that there would be a tiered response to the drone strike in Jordan, and that could be multiple actions instead of a single action. Could you just confirm that you're expecting a tiered response with multiple actions? And then secondly,
We're just doing it to replenish their
could you go for a little
stuff.
more? I mean,
To replenish all of our stuff and help Ukraine. Say,
words
why are we doing that? I don't see why we
Would you
just
like to
help
see them
that.
make good on this promise to suspend operations on U.S. forces? Could you just elaborate what you meant by that? Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. On your first question, again, we're not going to telegraph or discuss details associated with any future operations. And again, on the statement that's out there,
this is Task and Purpose.
I don't think we could be any more clear that we have called on the Iranian proxy groups to stop their attacks. They have not, and so we will respond in a time and manner of our choosing. When I say actions speak louder than words, there has been 3 attacks, to my knowledge, since the 28th of January.
The Purpose and Task, the YouTuber.
Okay. Got time for just a few more here. Let's go to Howard Altman, Warzone.
Right.
Thanks, Pat. A couple questions. One, have you can you confirm the political reporting that the ground-launched small diameter bomb could be delivered to Ukraine as soon as tomorrow? And then, has the Pentagon been informed by Ukraine of any change at the top of its command? There's been a lot of discussion about
Ukraine's holding off. Ukraine's doing strong, but right now they're struggling. I ain't gonna lie. But Russia's been struggling.
Yeah, thanks, Howard. On your latter question there, I'm not tracking any changes. Obviously, it's for Ukraine.
And if you
to
say they're not,
discuss
then
their internal
look at the front lines, and I tell you you're wrong.
As far as the
them bitches gotta move.
Small
Considering
diameter
that they
bomb,
own
as
a
we
country that
acknowledged
didn't even
last
have a
year,
navy, don't
we
even
will
have Air
provide
Force.
Ukraine with
Come
the
on.
ground-launched small diameter bomb.
Even
as
with
part of
our help. Come on.
Our USAI-funded security assistance efforts.
We can give
However, due to
monkeys
operation
fucking
security reasons, we're not gonna
AK-47s,
confirm
rock
specific
launchers,
timelines. We'll defer to Ukraine
and
to
they're
talk
not gonna take
about
over the
any
country.
delivery. But we do, as I mentioned, continue to work closely with Ukraine, with our industry partners, to ensure that Ukraine receives and is ready to use the capabilities that
what about the jets?
delivering to them, and as quickly as possible.
Anybody want to ask about the jets that we're supposed to give them? The jets.
So recognizing there's an ongoing investigation into it, is there any indication at this point with the drone attack that this was a result of a technology failure or gap, or versus human error in terms of recognizing what the technology and information was saying?
Yeah, again, I appreciate the question. SINSxG is looking into all of that. The other aspect of this, which I know you all appreciate, is the operations force protection aspect in terms of, vulnerabilities. It's not something we would talk about, certainly from the podium here. All that to say, we do recognize and appreciate the interest, and I can tell you that SINSxG is looking into all of that. Yes, ma'am.
do you have any concern that while you are responding to this attack, any party, whether it's ally or adversary, would exploit this situation to their benefit? And did you convey any message to that effect?
I'm not sure I understand what you're asking.
I mean, do you have any concern while you are responding to that attack, to this attack on the American troops in Jordan?
Are we
that
responding?
Any party, whether it's ally or adversary, would exploit this situation to their own benefit? You've been saying you don't want to widen this war.
Yeah.
And did you convey any message to any party? Speaking here specifically.
Is she asking if they're trying to bait us into a wider war?
You know,
I think that's what she's trying to ask.
We are not, first of all, taking a step back looking at the broader region. We fully recognize
that's what
the
they want. They're
tensions
just
right
going to
now
get messed
that are
up
in
in
the
the
Middle
end.
East.
This is going to get messed up.
From the very beginning.
So that's just on them. They want to get. That's like poking a tiger and like,
with our allies and
I want bait into biting my hand off. Then when your hand gets bit off, like, you
when
bit
it
my
comes
hand
to
off.
the situation
And you go
in
in
Iraq
hiding.
and Syria and Jordan, our troops were attacked, and 3 U.S. service members were killed and over 40 wounded. The president and the secretary have both said that we will respond in a time and place of our choosing.
Yep.
I'm, again, not going to go into details of what that could look like, other than the fact that there will be consequences, and I'm just going to, again, leave
There's
it right
going to
there.
be dire consequences.
Nancy,
I hope
last
so.
question.
Find us and he's
You've mentioned earlier that CENTCOM is investigating. Can you tell us who is investigating? Is there one person? Can you give us some? We've heard several references to the investigation.
Yeah, so, you know, term of art here, I would not use the word investigation. They're reviewing it. Of course, investigation has a specific, you know, connotation. Obviously, it's up to CENTCOM whether or not they open a formal investigation, typically after any type of incident.
I must have missed that part.
Review or investigation.
It says the.
But my point
y'all
is,
can't see my other one.
you know,
there.
U.S. Central Command and leaders within the command are.
It says the Pentagon states that there's been 3 attacks against U.S. troops since the Delhi attacks in Jordan on Sunday.
Right, but we heard the term yesterday. So what you're telling us is there's not one person who's looking into this? Is there some sort of like, I don't know, there's no like 15, there's no kind of.
I'll have to get back to you on that, Nancy. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
And that's it. Alright, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like political commentary like you just seen, a lot more will be coming soon. So hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to be notified every time I go live or every time I upload a video. And if you like the more political stuff, go ahead and follow my other page on Twitter called Future of Freedom. And I'll see you. I'm out.